card, just kind of wave your hand, and one of our very great staff members will come and give you a card and pick it up too. We will have all of this presentation and also a recap of this presentation will be in the newsletter. This will be posted, so you don't have to write down these websites, please. You can take a picture if you want, but we'll have them available for all of you. Okay, now to our next guest, Perry Gasampi, who I'm not going to say it right, am I, Perry? Where are you? I practice. So Perry is a resident here. He has had a personal experience with smart controllers for his irrigation system, and he's going to share his experience on another way to save lives. Thanks.
I'm going to talk to you about smart controllers that you can install in your home and save millions and millions of gallons of water. Or maybe a bunch. Oh, first I have to announce, wait a minute, I gotta find the laser pointer. Conflict of interest. One of the co-founders of Rachio, a maker of smart sprinkler controllers, is my son Franz. He's still the chief technology officer at Rachio, and he gave me all the swag that I wear, so that's kind of nice to have. Now the problem is when you had your homes installed, I suspect a not so smart controller was installed. Not very smart at all. I can't take into consideration many of the things that Megan mentioned in terms of taking into consideration the weather, the slope of your lawn, and so forth. I'll go into those a little bit very quickly when we look at the app itself. And I think the idea that, whoops, wrong button. I'm going backwards, am I? Well, it jumped a bunch. Especially there. More than half of residential water use, I think Susan's slide mentioned that number, or 55%, something like that. And so the answer is to get a smart controller. The sorts of things they can do, I'll mention the Rachio and most of the other smart controllers that are available. Weather intelligence looks at the things like rain and wind to determine when to adjust watering. Seasonal adjustments over here. Remove watering times based on seasonal change. I get an email, for example, saying that Rachio has changed the settings because of the change in seasons. And the type of soil that you use, the slope of your yard, any particular zone, you can do it adjusted for each zone. I'll show you that on the actual app, the Rachio app. And nozzle type, whether it's fixed or rotating and so forth. What a study done by.
You need to talk into the top of the mic.
You need taller? Like this?
Yes.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. The Rachio works a lot with municipal governments, and they did one study where they installed about 500 controllers and eventually like 2,000 or 3,000, and they found that the reduction in household usage was 17%. This is the actual app, the Rachio app. This is the one from my app actually, and I'll go through quickly what the schedule looks like, what the zones look like, what kind of history it gives you, weather intelligence, and a couple of other things. Part of the app, one of the screens will show you the forecast of weather for where your home is. And the schedule, I'm trying to find that, there we go. The schedule will actually show you which days you have the water scheduled to go on, to different zones. Down here, revised flex schedule, that's the way I've got mine set now. When I first installed the Rachio, about 8 years ago, I had water every third day or 3 days a week at certain times. But then I decided to change, my son's suggestion, I changed to the revised flex schedule, which takes into consideration the weather and so forth. And so now instead of, for example, having a fixed schedule every day or every other day, for example, 3 days a week, now it may water every 7th day or 10th day, depending on the zone. And the zones will be different as well. And over here, this shows you for any particular zone that you're using, when you started it, how is it set up, and I have a revised schedule for all the zones that I'm using. The next one, the actual zones I have 4 zones now. You'll notice they're numbered 2, 3, 4, 5. I had a zone 1, but we zero-scaped the front yard, and now that zone is gone, so we saved a lot that way. When you click on, these are actual screen shots from the app. If you click on Zone 2 Parkway, it will show you exactly how it's set up. In Zone 2, I have worm season grass setting. Over here are the different types of zones you could have. Shrubs, trees, xeriscape, and so forth. Different possibilities. And you will choose those for the individual zones that you have. The type of spray head could be fixed or could be rotating. They actually have 4 different settings if it's a or a drip system. If it's a drip system. Our zone 5 is drip. Soil type over here could be sandy, loam, clay, and so forth. You get to choose those. And what else? Exposure. It's a different screenshot as well. You can show exposure going from lots of sun all the way over to mostly shady. And each of my zones over here are set differently depending on the slope of the land. We have our front yard was sloped, but the back is flat, that sort of thing. So you can make those choices, and you can have the entire history of what's been done over weeks, when a particular zone was started, when it ended, at what time it ran, and that sort of thing. And you can have weeks worth of historical data to look at. There's 2 types of weather intelligence that you can use. I've now got it set so that it's called the Weather Intelligence Plus, where it's aggregated data of 300,000 weather stations. And you can set it for how much, when you want to stop watering, if the rain is could be anything but 0.1 to 1 inch, whatever you like, you can set it. Same with wind skip. You can have the system skip if the wind is more than 20 miles an hour. It's automatic, so that you will take that into consideration. And the same with, you can set the temperature for when you want the system not to run. You can either do the Weather Intelligence Plus, or you can actually pick a specific weather station. I did that initially when I started my system 8 years ago. I think I was using Erie Airport weather station. Or you can use one that's close by. You'll notice on this map of Anthem Ranch, this is my house, but there are actual weather stations that people use, including over in Anthem Highlands. And you can pick a particular weather station rather than use the aggregate of 300,000. Just a few more things. I'll mention the shared access. You can have somebody else, a friend or a relative, control your system or different parts of it, if you like. Integrations, you can have it integrated, your Rachio or other smart controller integrated with Amazon. So you can say, for example, Alexa, have Rachio turn on zone 4 for 15 minutes. You can do the same thing with Google, do the same thing with Google, and it'll do that for you. And what else? If you'd like to see, if you'd like to see some reviews, I've put in a couple of links here. All the ones I've looked at, strangely enough, show Rachio as the best one, but that's just me now. What else? Oh, I think I've lost something down at the bottom here. Oh, I see you've just taken it off recently. Yeah, I just looked at the one you sent me. You took off, I know, Judy's going to cover the rebates that you can get from the city and county of Broomfield. And I'll mention briefly, Rachio also has or will have actually, this one's coming out in March. A smart hose timer. And it looks like that. Installation is kind of important. They suggest, Rachio suggests at least, and I think that's true with the other controllers as well, 30 minutes or less. Your current system, when it was set up at your house, the zones were already picked out and set. And so all you have to do is take the wires from the old controller, the old not so smart controller, and plug it into the Rachio. Really, really easy to do. Installation. You can get these sorts of smart controllers, Amazon, Lowe's, Home Depot, Best Buy. So they're readily available. And this is what I was talking about very quickly. It's supposed to come out in March. And it's kind of neat. You attach it to your hose and you can control what you've got set up on your hose. If it's a spinning device to water a certain part of your lawn, and you don't have to go out and set it and remember to turn it off. You can have your phone do that for you. I think I'm almost at the end. Oh yeah, I had to show you this though. Back in 2014, I think it was, Governor Hickenlooper presented a $50,000 grant to Rachio when it was a startup company. And my son Franz is here. He apparently has the same fashion sense that I do. He's the only one who doesn't have a suit and tie on. And now, Judy, introduction. Let me put this back in here.
Which one?
Just a few. It's okay. Okay. Go forward. There you go. Okay.
Thanks, Perry, for bringing all of this to our attention. And he did assure me he does not get a cut for anything like this. And you can look forward to his son actually being at the opening fair on April